Aloha, Nityanandam. Good evening. Let me do a little bit of a tech check. Make sure everything is going through properly. Okay, awesome. Everything's moving along very smoothly today. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start with the prayer. You are welcome to say the prayer of your tradition to invoke oneness, communion. I personally prefer just silence. Thank you so much. So, this is day 15 of the 25 days of force majeure Christmas. Where did it go? Kind of got a lot to cover because this is about decolonizing your mind and all of the things that have been programmed into society as norms is essentially all atrocity material. Where did it go? Shoots. There it is. So today is, oops, I forgot to change the day. It's day 15, not 14. But it's, history is not the past as you think. And that's the reason why history is so boring, because there is no relevance to one's life in the present for actual application to be lived, unless you are digging into all of this from the perspective of manifesting the life that you want. And for me, I didn't care too much about history. As odd as this may sound, I still don't, because I would rather focus on not boxing and working towards a new manifested reality instead of perpetuating the same thing, because that's essentially what we're doing, or the globe. And what I want to share before we get started in all of that is, because it's the holiday season and we're on the weekend before Christmas holiday, and there's different things going on in the community, but I do want to normalize handmade gifts, digital gifts, regifting, secondhand gifts, consumable gifts, experience gifts, small business gifts, so that we keep things out of the landfill, and the only things that are loved are things that are continuously used. And so if you have things, and we just got too much hoarders, right? Because it's a consumeristic constructs that have been imposed upon us. And so just some things to think about and possibly change the way that you flow. Okay, so tomorrow there is the Taste of Puna event, grand opening gala. It's from 2 to 9 p.m. as well as the Pu'uhonua Makeke, which is from 9 to 3. They have free bread and eggs and raffle tickets every 30 to 40 minutes. In Hilo, that the Butler building next to the Hilo Civic Auditorium, it's free admission. They have the Christmas craft fair as well as the Big Island Art Fair at King's Shop. If you know of any what's going on? That's what's going on. If you know, sorry, going into the PDF tab, that's why, so thank you for your understanding and patience. If you know of any activities that support small business, please let me know so that I can extend that or share that information for others to be able to show up and attend. And in that flow of small business and homemade, handmade gifts, shorten your food chain, right? The food chain is just way too long, requiring all kinds of things, as well as the food system over time showing the Ahupua'a system going into the plantation system, and right now we've got the pesticide system. So we can simply revert back to the Ahupua'a system if we make a collective decision to do so. It's better for the Aina, better for everybody. It becomes more of a community effort. So what are we consciously perpetuating? Again, let's love our elders. Not respect is only a side effect of love, which is acceptance as we are in communion, commitment, which is taking care of each other, no judgment. As well as for our health choices, please choose La'au Lapa'au, Ayurveda, holistic medicines. Those are choices. All right, so just to share some interesting tidbits of what I found interesting, just to bring some more different things to hear. I found this a very interesting video, so I'm going to share it.
If you asked me who invented the moonwalk, like many people, I probably would have said Michael Jackson, but I was way off, like 100 years off. The moonwalk as a dance move has been around forever, and you will not believe some of these video clips. Let's get into it. The first evidence of the moonwalk came in 1872, when a guy named Arthur Marshall, who was a composer of ragtime music, described this dance he had seen where the dancer looked like he was being pulled along on ice skates by manipulating his toes and heels. By the turn of the century, that dance move was so prominent in black minstrel shows called stepping on the puppy's tail. And in the 1930s, Holloway, one of the most famous jazz singers in the world, started doing the move and called it the buzz. Even in 1935, this animated movie called Dancing on the Moon showed this cat doing the moonwalk. But the very first on-screen filmed moonwalk came in 1943 with a guy named Bill Bailey, who was a very famous tap dancer and used it to exit the stage when he was done with the song. But the modern version of the moonwalk, as we know it, first came to prominence when the Electric Boogaloo started doing it on Soul Train. And that is where Michael Jackson first saw it. Michael reached out to Casper Kennedy from Soul Train to give him private lessons on how to do the moonwalk, and then debuted his version of the moonwalk on the 1983 Motown 25 anniversary television special, and the rest is history. Now we know.
So history is very interesting, and I found that this guy who put that together, very interesting. So the other interesting thing is I want to share another thing about history, and you might want to reflect on where we are as a humanity, and the norms that we're accepting. So like I was saying, and how do you know, like, what are our choices, right? Slumlord over here, slumlord over there, jigaboo slumlord over there, right? What do we got? What kind of options we got? And so this will be a very sobering reality on how devolved America has become.
Let's start with the most ingenious door in any refrigerator. It has special places for bottles, spreadable butter, cheeses, even leftovers, and a big picture window hydrator for fruits and vegetables. It tilts down to show you your supply at a glance. And it also lifts out, so you can take it over to the sink when there's a fresh supply to be washed and put away. But that's just the door. Think of all you can store in here on these big firm shelves that roll all the way up to you, so you can get at the food and back without moving anything in front. And how about your frozen things? Oh yes, there's a place for them too, in this big, big food freezer. Even your ice cubes have a special place for storage, right here. And watch how they get there. You just take out a tray, turn it over, and push. You get a shower of ice cubes, all frosty dry and ready.
So it's just that, and our box refrigerator, really? Really? How boring, right? Slaves, being treated like slaves. Oh, here, right? Really? We're consciousness. Come on. So, before we get started, I wanted to share a little bit of a post that I came across, a little bit of possibility in the Hawaii Kingdom. The post is by Moleka, and it's saying that HHFDC land thieves got rejected in yesterday's court hearing for their request to extend order to execute their writ of possession in Waiahole, which was granted back in January because it's expired in July. They claimed in yesterday's court hearing that the writ expired in July. In their court summons, they claimed that they couldn't execute writ because their main power was needed in Maui. Fires happened on August 8th. Their writ expired in July, according to Ryan Kanaka-Ole from the Attorney General's office representing HHFDC. Someone's math is not mathing. Our case is in appeal, so they no can touch. They are trying to claim this is a landlord-tenant issue. Ole, this is an issue over clear title. HHFDC holds tax map keys and the Kane Ohana are the successors in interest whose unalienable rights are afforded to them pursuant to the laws which govern the land of descendants in Ko Hawaii Pai Aina, which are guided by these facts of the chain of title for the land in question of Ka'opulupulu, true allodial title holder of Royal Patent Grant 2874 from Kamehameha I, March 1st, 1862, 113.3 acres for 260 libra, 13 page 403, and that's why the Intermediate Court of Appeals is reviewing our case. Shame on them to use Maui tragedy as to why they couldn't make more Hawaiians homeless execute writ of possession. Big mahalo to Judge Hartley, Stephen L., who is the most honorable judge we've ever come across. Big ups and salutations to my Kane Ohana. We did it. Aina back. So just to show you the photos that were taken of that day. Let's hold space and prayer for this win, for this family, and for the right things to start happening. Okay. So now let's get it back to decolonizing your mind. History is not as you think it is. History is not like, oh, the past and we can forget about it. No, it really is alive and well. And how are we living to start guiding that collective to a higher consciousness? And this is my contribution and attempts to help in that, where my feet are, to manifest the life that I want to live. So I came across this video. We're going to start there.
I don't know how many of y'all paid attention in school, but do y'all remember back in the day when you would learn about the Holocaust, one of the first things that they would teach you was about Nazi propaganda? Or like when you went into freshman, senior year in college, humanities, sociology, English literature, more often than not, they would use propaganda from Nazi Germany. I mean, even if you're taking marketing classes, you learn about Nazi propaganda because it was so effective, right? And it's alarming, but I think that saying holds tried and true, that the pen is mightier than the sword. You can kill a nation, you can't kill an idea, right? So on and so forth, right? The reason I'm bringing this up is because right now other countries are currently developing, implementing, and teaching textbooks that are currently reviewing American propaganda. Our propaganda is being studied. Apparently, the primary derivative of American propaganda is to divide us so that they can exploit us by overtaxing us. Oh, and we're also known as one of the most unhealthiest nations in the world. So that's pretty cool. But, you know, wow. I think the new American dream is to leave. Just saying.
So it gets very interesting with and hopeful with the content out there for people to start waking up, not just here, but globally as well. The next video I came across, this is about Californian history and the Native American history, and I thank this young man for doing his research, or at least made this videos for me to go and take a look a deeper look, because these are the things you don't know about, but it just pretty much reconfirms so many things for me.
Now let's talk about this asshole, the first governor of California, Peter Burnett.
Governor of California, Peter Burnett, did issue an order for the extermination of all Native Americans in the state.
That's right, we took their river, their land, and that. Now let's talk about J.G. Boswell. He was moving west because his farm in the south got destroyed by cotton-eating insects. In 1921, he bought a bunch of land on the shores of Lake Tulare. In the 1920s, the lake was already, really low, but he saw the potential in turning the rest of it into a farm. This man didn't just want a normal farm, he wanted an empire. He and his family quickly started bribing government officials. Number one thing they wanted was well-placed dams to help drain the rivers that help fill that lake, instead diverting that river water into irrigation canals. And they got what they wanted. By the 1930s, Lake Tulare was gone. And he had cotton farms that are still here to this day that are huge. Last thing I want to say is, yes, bad farming practices did affect this lake, but this man's greed is the real reason why that lake is gone today.
So it gets very sobering. Gets very, very sobering. So in my research, there is a website called ACCUSATIONS.org that the mission of Gold Chains is to uncover hidden history of slavery in California by lifting up the voices of courageous African American and Native American individuals who challenged their brutal treatment and demanded their civil rights, inspiring us with their ingenuity, resilience, and tenacity. We aim to expose the role of the courts, law, and the tacit acceptance of white supremacy in sanctioning race-based violence and discrimination that continues into the present day. Through our unflinching examination of our collective past, we invite California to become truly aware and authentically enlightened. Now, nowhere in here is it saying give back blood title. That's what I'm saying. Give back blood title. So in that, I did a little bit digging into what this guy, Mr. Peter Burnett, who was the first governor of California, and his brutal, barbaric policies, and it's the same. The Act for Government and Protection of Indians. So all of their policies and whatnot are very misleading in how they label them. It's been nicknamed the Indian Indentured Act. Indenture means bind someone by an indenture as an apprentice or laborer. Binding, enslaving, right? They say bind. I guess it's bind, but it's slavery. It's slavery. Blood title, blood everything, right? And this was in April 22nd, 1850. Now, some of the things that I because of this, and we're dealing with the same people, the same families, the same ones who even travel globally, right? So I'm even considering taking a look at global history in the 1890s just to see how those movements are as well. But even if you look at it, it's the same same, right? Because we're talking about trust, we're talking about maritime admiralty law. That's what we're talking about. So, want to share this. Want to share the this video of this auntie. I don't know who she is, but I've seen her video, and it's very, very powerful in addressing the issue into the modern day, because she's talking about 524 years, right? Hawaii Kingdom is at 130 years. Bharat, India, is talking thousands of years of the same. And it's a mental setup, because even those who have been colonized are expressing the same mental setup, creating blind spots of their own oppressive behavior, because that's all that they've seen and know, and that's the social construct. So how do we collectively liberate ourselves from the chains of mental setups?
Be blamed for that. I mean, you don't think that anything he's doing is helping the situation? Is he an improvement over Stephen Harper? I mean, what talk record is it?
Excuse me, did I just hear you correctly? How can he be blamed for that?
No.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Don't speak to us that way.
Stop right now. You do not speak to us that way. We are human beings, and the way that you're speaking to us
is not acceptable.
You are not.
No, stop it. Stop it right now.
We don't want you here. Can you please leave?
Step out.
Step out.
Step out. Then I don't want to hear from you.
You have no right.
You don't speak to us like that.
Very simple question. You have an answer.
And this is the problem, the way you communicate.
I'm not insinuating anything. I'm looking for information.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm not arguing either.
No, stop. Stop. You need to stop.
I'm only.
You need to stop. Stop. Kipishi.
You don't do
Mona kandoy na mitin chamane na miyak. Asha weshkat katos chamane na minan kikas chakas ko no e mane na miyak. Tapos coach e kain in nuyak. E kwani e spanik. E kwani magamosha ko may tago siyak. Tapos coach e kikas chakakipa at siyak. You're a guest here. And you don't even know how to speak to us. You don't even recognize the tone in your voice and your delivery. And no, you're done. You're done. Next question.
I'll re-ask Julie's question. How do you think?
You want to re-ask?
Yes. How do you think?
You better be respectful.
I'm being totally respectful. I'm asking how Justin Trudeau's record compared to Stephen Harper's record. Do you think he's improved the situation? I think that's what Julie was asking.
We have a holistic genocide happening here.
Don't speak on behalf of Julie.
Could you just answer the question,
I can
please?
speak for myself. I was asking.
And I can speak for myself. You know what, white people? You've had your voice here for 524 years. 524 years you've been visible, white lady. You've been visible for 524 years. Look how fast your white man comes and steps up for you. Where is everybody else to come and step up for us? I have a right to my voice. I'm still fighting for my voice and my visibility.
We asked the question.
And I'm telling you right now, there has been 524 years of holistic genocide on Turtle Island. We're the ones that are dying. It's not you that is dying. And as far as how Justin Trudeau is doing, one of the things that we need to keep in mind is we're asking the United Nations to help us that charges of genocide a war against humanity, war crimes, and a crime of aggression be laid, because your Liberal Party was also responsible. Every party, every governance that has been in power, there's been a war conflict of Indian residential school, 60 scoop, Indian day school, and Millennium scoop. None of your governments have clean hands. All your governments have blood on their hands. None of you are different. You haven't changed because you haven't started your healing journeys. The moment that we have our voice and our backbone, you want to shut us down. And you think you're privileged to disrespect us. The moment we tell you, because of your colonial mindset and your colonial way of being, your white privilege, your white fragility, you can't take our truth. Look how many people came to bat for you, white lady, and you're a guest here. Without us, you'd be homeless. This is over.
So it's very sobering, the situation we are born into and inheriting. And basically, how does this get fixed? Yeah. How does we get fixed? Now, I understand she's talking about the UN, and I'm going to be going over that and what I have found and the things that I'm looking at, and inviting all of humanity to take a look at it with me. But just like the Kanaka Maoli, the Native Americans, it's all the Earth peoples being colonized by the British. Well, the UN and their British constructs. And in that constructs and finding all the hypocrisies, even within their quote-unquote humanitarian law. So the same strategies happen. And the reason why I bring this up is because I'm talking to not just Earth peoples, but Earth peoples who are moving around. So specifically Hindus, the NRIs, non-resident Indians, Hindu NRIs. So it's all trust law, and it's all contracts, and it's all paper pushing, box checking, and getting pulled into whatever compartment that you're being pulled into. And because for me, looking at these things and the issues of the that I found that the United States Boston Tea Party is still going, and British are winning, if you will. And so on this side, I can't fit in here how this side creates their own bonds that makes all taxpayers held accountable to pay them by the IRS printing money. And so, not IRS, the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is a private bank, which leads me to this here. Since we're talking about private banks, I did some research on what percent is the cash, or what percent of the money is in a physical form. And this one here says about 10% is in physical form, physical currency. Pretty much everything else is in a digital form. Here's another interesting thing when we're talking about the bankers, right? Now, when we're talking about banks, this is a very interesting.
Of your tellers are currently receiving public assistance in this country?
I'm not aware, Congresswoman.
Right now, 1/3 of bank tellers in the United States receive public assistance. Madam Chair, I'd like permission to enter into the record the study from the University of California, Berkeley, that shows that the cost of public benefits to families of bank tellers is almost $900 million per year.
Without objection, such is the order.
So taxpayers are subsidizing Wells Fargo's wages to the tune of $900 million per year. I don't want my kids to grow up and be Wells Fargo tellers because statistically speaking, one of the three would end up needing public assistance. Is Wells Fargo profitable? Is Wells Fargo profitable?
I believe it is, yes, Congresswoman.
You believe? I mean, it's 19.5 billion last year, so we can round that up to 20 billion. That's profit. So the bank can afford to pay its tellers significantly more. Do you think the hardworking taxpayers of this country should be shoring up Wells Fargo's tellers' salaries when the bank has profits of $20 billion a year and paid out $30 billion in buybacks and dividends last year?
Congresswoman, I believe we should pay people fairly, and I believe the actions that we've taken, especially recently by raising the minimum wage, does in fact do that. We also, in addition to...
You raise the wage only in high-cost areas, however, not across the board. You raise the wage only in high-cost areas, not across the board.
Roasted.
We raised...
So it gets very interesting looking at the entire situation, and a vast majority of people are too busy to pay attention. They're living their lives. That's how it should be. And things should be constructed in an open architecture format, empowering people to live and build their bliss, not have to deal with corruption. So the constructs, and this is where it gets very interesting, I want to share another video on the patent for the digital passports. It's a digital passport by Bank of America. And it was passed on January 10th, 2023. So they have the patent for those digital passports, and with the they're being very real and open about their agenda to make everything a digital currency, and tax farming, right? We're just tax farmed. It's another enslavement, right? So that's why I'm sharing, because it comes down to individuals seeking for themselves, seeking for, you know, what's in their actual DNA and their genetic roots, as well as their spiritual roots and that history, to know exactly who they are, to be empowered from the core. And so then you'll know exactly what's in your DNA, right? Your ancestors, if they were complicit in blood title, acquiring blood title. That's in there. That'll be your blind spot. That'll be all of that. So when it comes to the policies, just like Mr. Burnett creating policies, the humanitarian law book is equally the same. So going to the UN, from my own looking into and reading around, same. Right? This guy, Vattel. And on page 14, in the Laws of Nations, he calls that science. It's a particular science. So basically any one book becomes its own science, and that's what it really boils down to anyway. But when it comes to like cultures like the Hindu culture, which had 56 nations before in a very peaceful society that was brutally attacked over and over and over again, despite having thousands and thousands of stone carved monolithic temples, and they carve everything in stone, so it's difficult to burn. But that's what the colonizers, whether it's the Christians, British, Mongols, Muslims, they all do their same, because they're only about brutality against women, essentially, and imposing all of their laws and rules and whatnot to cater to the reality that they're imposing upon the rest of humanity. I don't think they're doing real science. They're just imposing their perspective. So when it comes down to that, how do we address this whole thing? So even here where my feet actually are, Tales of the Night Rainbow, I am advocating it for it to be raised to holy book status, which would be, in my opinion, humble opinion, equivalent in Hindu source books. It would become a source book because it also has genealogy. Again, there are two different versions of this book. I'm looking for the second version. I just would like digital copy of that, photos of each page and such. So if you do have that book, Tales of the Night Rainbow, I would sincerely appreciate you letting me know, and I would really like to take a look at that. That's me being a humanitarian, acknowledging, right? I choose to be a secular Hindu, which is all accepting, right? Quantum catalyst fusionist, because I just am completely done with this one dharma, going to war, that they are better, and all it is grandpas waving around their crayon scribbles. I am literally just kind of done with that kind of perspectives. So the logic of the UN is the humanitarian law. They follow this humanitarian law book, which is the same of whatever mental setup constructs that even Mr. Burnett subscribed to and made those genocidal laws, and saying it's to protect when it's not. And that points to each one Dharma holy book. Now this is where the Christians have one book or many versions, Muslims have one book, right? But Hindus have 100 million source books. That's Hindus, right? So very different when it comes to inner space and how things are perceived. So going from there, and for me, I just look at it as everybody needs to stop, since everybody trying to go to the UN and talk about peace and talk about their humanitarian rights and whatever. Okay, let's give back blood title. Anybody who is an NRI, non-resident Indian, Hindus in America, you're getting funneled into their tax system, thereby you have been inserted a mental setup that all these people who are trying to get in the borders or illegals or whatever, but they're Mexicans or Native Americans who were there before the Christopher Columbus lost his way and then did their genocide, their bait and switch genocidal kind of things, and you're perpetuating that. And so for me, it gets very difficult, and I grasp doing what's right and not pleasant. So I get it, and I really don't care, because I only answer to Kala Berba and Paramashiva, Maha Paramashiva. That's all I answer to. So as uncomfortable or whatever, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm just saying it straight because I have to, right? So doing what's right, not what's pleasant. And Paramashiva knows I don't give too much of nothing, because I only am with Paramashiva anyway. Everything else is a situationship. My only relationship is with Mahaparamashiva, the cosmos, God. Everything else is a situationship. So that's why I'm calling upon my peer group. Popes, supreme pontiffs, religious, spiritual leaders, all y'all. That's what I'm saying, right? It's not, oh, we're gonna get to peace for ourselves. No, it's about living and manifesting that peace. And if you have blood title on your hands, of course you're not going to be able to have peace. It gets very challenging being me, because just nothing. There's nothing. And so in that, right, and I'm still meditating on how I can present this better. I'm always open to help or input, anything, right? As well as I've been in the process of mapping what is the legalities, right? So the thing is, a lot of people are talking about jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is not the land zone, it's the type of law court that you're entering into. There's trust law, equity law, contract law. Juris means right law. Diction means word. It's not agency, country, etc., which is like venues. The court is a bank and a post office. That's why the clerk. And the judge is the banker, or the as well as the postmaster. So the postmaster, that's why post office is. This is my guesstimation based off of the War Castles video series that I watched with the forgot that gentleman's name. Pretty much saying it's a British construct. All of that is a British construct, and it's about postal wars, and that's how they land their net in grabbing all those people and enslaving them with the address, using your birth certificate address, and then they grab you like that. And the thing is all of that only maintains with people perpetuating that. It's all just perpetuating that. And so that's just some constructs, me mapping things, and I already know, because there are some videos that I've watched that there's people out there who know this, and I get it, you're only gonna teach your own children, but at this point, and even when I look around, everybody's coveting, and there's people who know, and so I'm asking Cosmos, God, Paramashiva, for that, for those who do know, to come and step into my reality and start being really real about things for everyone, right? Without full knowledge, you can't obtain consent. So going back to where Hawaii is, and it's not just Hawaii, because Hawaii is in occupation, thus the laws of war apply. Laws of war apply globally to anywhere there is a conflict. And for resolution, for me, that's why I'm saying, if the UN can parade around the World Health Organization with their pandemic treaty, why are they not saying a global peace treaty? Because the global peace treaty literally is actual humanitarian law, not this book over here written by Mr. Vattel. It's not. Right? And a global peace treaty can be something simple. Very simple. And coupled with a global bureau of conveyance, which is what I'm advocating for. Right? With that force majeure, we can change this World War III postured threatening to be like, no, no, no. And that's using their logic, but the thing is they do bait and switch, right? So knowing who's who and what's what, and if they doing that bait and switch jigaboo dance, right, then we know. We know who's who and what's what. So going back to Hawaii, for those who choose, and everyone has a choice, right? That's why there's multiple factions, and each faction, from my guesstimation, is going out with their own network and their own circles of influences, creating whatever constructs that they are basing their truth and their reality and living their reality, and those who support that and want to live that reality will do so. That's why there are so many different narratives, and that's why I'm talking about subjective truth from that spiritual perspective, right? I don't take sides, just looking at the whole thing objectively, and being that sorting hat, Hogwarts sorting hat, moving people to where they need to go based on the truths that they want to live. So, and within Hawaiian Kingdom, there's different subjective truths going. For those who are not wanting to be in Hawaiian Kingdom and they want to be American, America has their processes, right? And there is a, oh shoots, there is a General Assembly here in Hawaii. Right. That's what happens when, anyway, for those who are interested in that, that is the private Americans, the constitutional in this yellow bracket, not the red bracket. If you're in the red bracket, that's where a vast majority of people are. In this yellow bracket on the American side, the green side is Earth peoples, and Hawaii is not America. So for those who want to execute this, the proper way to execute this, because Hawaii is not America, you cannot use American law on Hawaiian soil, especially in wartime. You must connect with your Navy JAG officer, have them bring in an immigration center, consulate, etc., just like any other foreign nation. And those rights, and the reason why you need that is because right now your rights are not protected in a war zone. So you need to connect with those entities, because they always do their corporate shuffle, and I'm in the process of trying to figure that part out myself. So, and everybody is. And with the force majeure, it's pretty much a global who's gonna do it, right? And I get it, I'm the only one really saying this openly, come what may, with full responsibility for what I'm saying, because I'm calling out to all of everybody who's older than me and younger than me, everybody, because we are all responsible to make a global peace treaty happen, all of us. Instead of whining and being like, oh, we need peace, we need peace. No, so applicable where the rubber meets the road, and everybody's not saying this, and the fact that, and it's nobody's fault, because with Hawaii Kingdom, the UN official statement said you're in some strange form of occupation. They didn't say you're in war, here's the laws of war. That did not happen. And so I'm not blaming anybody. Let's correct the fumble and do the right thing. And for those leaders who literally have too much testosterone or whatever, I think that world leaders who want to go and fight, they should handle their differences in the MMA octagon, WWF MMA style. What happens in the octagon stays in the octagon. They can go and do their flex or whatever. Now if it's not just a physical flex, they need a mental flex or whatever, I suggest that they go and do, like, make video games or something, use their brain in a more peaceful, fun-loving. Well, I don't know about the video games, because get too much violent video games too. Do you have the ones that where you can, like, a virtual reality war thing? Maybe they should go do that. I don't know. Just let people live their lives and families, and all of these military adventurism, empire building people, go home. Should take care of your family. Grow food. Take care of Aina. If you don't want to do that, go take care of Aina land. Get plenty polluted places that need malama, that need to be taken care of, and I think you should go and focus on that. So one of the things that they don't do or make it known or easily accessible, right, is legal education. They're your claws, and that's proper self-defense. There's just far too many people ill-equipped with the basic knowledge. And that's done on purpose because it's about exploitation. And if it's exploitation, it's still enslavement and human trafficking. Are you enslaved and are you human trafficked? Some things to really think about. Just want a global peace. And it's possible. It is possible. Global Peace Treaty, Global Bureau of Conveyance. If there really is already a Global Bureau of Conveyance called the Lodial Title, where is this held? And why is there borders, right? And why is there all these conflicts and stuff? And why isn't everything pretty much straight in whatever? But we all know what's going on. Mass starvation is not war. Bombing hospitals is not war. Wiping out entire neighborhood is not war. It's mass murder. Right? This is about the Palestine, Gaza. Right? But what about the people of Congo? Yeah. A prayer for the people of Congo as well. Prayer for everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere. It's everywhere. So, for me, because I am about families, wanted to share this cute video that this couple put out. Hopefully inspiring you and your family to configure yourselves for stability and perpetuating your family.
So the wife and I meet every year in December at a location away from home to discuss our goals for the year to come. See, we're both very highly driven individuals, but before we began doing this, we weren't always on the same page and our direction wasn't well defined. We started having annual strategic meetings, and it has allowed us to lay the groundwork for the life we want to build together. These meetings not only bring clarity to our intentions for the future, but it also empowers us as individuals and as a couple to execute our goals. Entrepreneurs with business plans are 260% more likely to launch. Companies with annual business plans increase their chance of growth by 30%. And for us, it has been the key to success in many areas of our lives. During these meetings, we discuss our finances, our travel, family goals, professional goals, and personal goals. It changed the game for us, and I know it can for you and yours. I like how Dwight Eisenhower put it. He said, plans are nothing, but planning is everything.
So thank you for listening. I know it's kind of a lot trying to grapple with all of these colonizers, same throughout history, right? It's all the same. It's nothing has changed for hundreds and thousands of years, and humanity is ready for a breakthrough. Definitely a breakthrough. Especially with power manifestation, right? So, I'm going to close with a peace prayer. Peace for you, peace for me, peace for the whole humanity. Yeah. Thank you so much. You have a good evening. Aloha, Nithyanandam.